Being a rideshare driver here in New York, or actually a rideshare driver in general, it's a very popular way to make money and sort of have your own business. And there's some huge pluses and there's a few minuses to doing it as well. We'll go with the good first. Number one, like I said, you are your own boss. Basically, you are allowed to make as much money as you possibly can without hopefully endangering your passengers by falling asleep at the wheel and things like that. Trust me, it's happened. It's happened. Um, I mean, not to me, of course, but it's happened out there. Um, and like we're allowed to like be out there as much as we can. We do have an hour limit, but the way it works is it's not exactly what you say, what you think. I mean, we do have a 10-hour limit here in New York City per 24-hour period, meaning that we can't work over 10 hours for the 24-hour period. But the way they calculate the time is that the time that counts toward the 10 hours only counts as the time the passenger is in the car. So meaning, it sounds like 10 hours a day. No, no. Just, most drivers are still driving like about 14, 15 hours a day. Like over the weekends, that's what I'll usually do. But I don't do it straight like some drivers do. I usually break my day up to take a rest or give myself a break in the middle of the day. Or like today, a day like today, I'm not feeling all that hot this morning, so I'm not going to work in the morning. So I'll probably work maybe 12 hours straight this evening. Usually I don't do it that way. Most of the time I'll usually work like 4 or 5 hours in the morning, and then I'll go out for like 9 hours in the night. It's not a bad way to do it. Um, like I said, all drivers are different. Some just try to like power their way through. I think that's nuts. But listen, it's all on the driver. Uh, like I said, we are our own bosses. Like I said, so basically, as much as you put in is what you're going to get out of it. Because of the saturation of drivers here and cars here in New York City area, drivers do tend to drive a lot and to make the best kind of money that you can. It's not bad. It could always be better. Hey, listen, this is America. It can always be better, but but this is what we have to work with. Um, Between the rideshare companies that are out there, they all basically take a commission out of whatever the driver makes for the day. They all do it differently. Some of them are as low as 10%, so meaning that the driver keeps 90% of whatever they earn. Some of them are as high as 30% that they're taking, and that doesn't account for expenses or anything like that. That's but that goes to a negative, which I said I wasn't going to go into, but it kind of overlaps. Expenses and things like that. That's on the driver, meaning we're paying for our own gas and things like that, whatever maintenance to the car if you own your own car. A lot of drivers do tend to lease cars. We'll go into that on the negative side because I think that's nuts. The other thing is cool, like I said, I mean, it really gives you a lot of freedom and flexibility of what you do with your day. Myself, I had to go back to college. I'm back in college. It's a pretty bizarre scenario to be over 50 years old and having to go to college. But hey, listen, we do what we have to do. Unfortunately, that's the circumstance that I round up in, and it's all right for me. I don't mind. It's kind of fun. It's kind of weird being in there with younger students, but that's just me. And like a gig like this definitely lends itself to being able to being a student and stuff like that. So for that, I would say it's not so bad. It also, I mean, like if you don't feel like working one day or whatever, which is pretty rare. I usually work every day, but if you feel like taking the day off, you can if you want to. Like I said, you just have to realize that you'll have to plan for that ahead or whatever you have to do to make it work. Um, and those are the things that they like to talk about in like all the ads when they're trying to get you to come and drive for them. They like to bring up the fact that you're flexible and things like that. And for the most part, that's true. Um, but like I said, I mean, there are times for sure that I think that you need to drive during the week. In the mornings, I think you need to drive. It's during rush hour. Usually, it's very busy. Right now, it's the summer. The summer's winding down. I'm really looking forward to school starting again. This really helps our income because that's a big glut of people that have to move around the city, and we help do that. We help move the city along. Now, some of the negatives. like I said, the negatives go into like I said, the expenses, everything relies on the driver. Meaning, the driver pays for their insurance, gas, maintenance on the car, car washing. You don't think about all that stuff. It does add up at the time, and after a while, especially gas. Gas prices are crazy. I'm not gonna go into the whole political whatever I think about that, but we'll leave that alone. Um, and That's all on the driver. If we have an accident, it's on the driver. It's not on these companies. These companies, we are not employees of them. We do not work for whatever rideshare company that you can name it. Nobody works for them directly, unless they're working as like a support staff for the company directly. We're not employees. We're just considered contractors. So, like, we pay our own taxes. We pay, we're responsible for all our own stuff. And I mean, if you're not like a studious, careful person, it can come back and bite you. I know the first year I did it, I got hurt a little bit because I was unaware of some of the things that you have to do. One of the other, like I said, the other thing about it is that the truth is, I'm being very honest about this. While we're the grunts on the floor, in front, dealing with the public, as as like representatives of these companies, they don't let us forget that. We have to really represent the companies the right way. Meaning you can't badmouth companies. You can't really say anything negative. I mean, because these companies, they have a lot of people that are floating around taking these rides, and then they're reporting back. Nobody really knows about that, but I'm here to fucking tell you that shit. And I'm sorry, I had to get a little salty on that one because I think that's a little bit weird. Gets a little weird in this business. But that's the truth of the matter. And also, the one thing which is really, I think, is a real problem, because one of the true things about what we do, it's a very diverse community. Meaning, there are a lot of people who are immigrants that do it. Me myself, I'm not. I'm a born and raised New Yorker from the Bronx of the house, and that's what I mean. I'm a born and raised New Yorker, and you do see there are a lot of people that are like me that do it, but I would say that the bulk of the community that do drive for these companies are people who are immigrants or from other countries. There are a lot of culture clashes. There's a lot of beef. Going back. I mean, that can happen between passengers and drivers. Some people might be insulted because of a person that might say something to them. Sometimes if a person's like a little bit inebriated, they might feel a way. I mean, and I'm not here to say plus or minus or whatever. I'm just keeping it real about what really goes on out here. But the truth of the matter is that passengers have a lot of power over us, which is really, I think that, and it's not weighted in the right way. Sometimes a passenger, for whatever reason, because maybe you didn't take a route that they wanted you to take, because I mean, hey, listen, I know the city pretty well, but I don't know Queens for shit because I didn't have friends there. But sometimes, people think that you're going to go a certain way and you don't. Sometimes people are following their GPS and they want you to do something different. So, I'm willing to deviate. Some people are not. I don't get that. Whoever tells you, if a driver tells you, they have to follow, no, they don't. That's bull. I'm sorry. That's one of the things where I get on drivers a little bit, because you don't have to do that. Because we're here for the public, but at the same time, like I said, sometimes, like I said, the way it's weighted, it's not cool. Sometimes if you didn't have like a water or a snack, which is ridiculous. Any driver that's been doing this for a while, if they still have snacks in their car, I don't know what they're thinking, because I've unfortunately had a lot of incidents where people leave a huge mess in the car because I've had stuff for them to snack on or whatever as we're moving around. I don't really mind doing it, but like I said, I mean, some people are just not respectful of your situation, and they think that they treat your car like a garbage can. That's not cool. But riders have a lot of power over us, and I think that's something that really needs to be looked at in this industry, because I think sometimes that drivers get falsely claimed of things that they just didn't do, and people just do it because for whatever their reason is or whatever their motive is. It's just a weird thing about what goes on here. and I think that it should be a little bit more balanced as far as that goes.